Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I'm Adam Bilsing and this is Dirty Bandana Music, and today is video 2 from a series that we're doing out of my new book, The 10/8 Drum Method. Today we are still in chapter 1. In fact, we're still on the very first page of chapter 1, which is page 3. And we're going to be talking about some of the grooves on this page to kind of expand our understanding of what we covered in the first video. Links below if you want to check out the first video. So the whole point of this book is I'm trying to sort out for myself how to get into this new groove that's become popular in the last handful of years. It's sort of a slide shuffle, a half straight, half swung kind of thing. People are calling it maybe drunk drumming. I don't know, there's 100 different terms for it, and we're all having a hard time wrapping our heads around it, I've discovered. So what I've done is written this book to help get into it, and I'm basing the whole thing on quintuplets, that's fives, and this, for me at least, was my way into the door for this particular style of groove that has been pretty hard for me to crack over the past handful of years. So today, we're gonna talk about some of my favorite basics from page 3. We're gonna be running number 1, 5, 8, 11, and 14. That's exercises 1, 5, 8, 11, and 14. And these are really the grooves that got me into this. These are the ones that I was singing in my head as I was trying to sort this all out. And they apply back directly to what most of us know as a 12/8 drum groove. Now, a 12/8 groove, we probably all know just from our previous experience. It's like a church groove, or they used to have it in soul music a lot, and it's based on triplets. All right, so what I've done in the book is I've modified this, and instead of triplets in your right hand, we're putting quintuplets in the right hand. Now I know that might sound a little bit challenging at first, but once you get these fives internalized, it's really not that big a deal. So spend some time on quintuplets, try to get them in your hands, just on a snare drum or a practice pad or whatever. And then the cheat that I like to use is I put the metronome in 5/4 time. So today, once we get into the exercises, the metronome is at 220 beats per minute in 5/4 time. So in this way, you get a click for every right hand note. So it really helps to guide you through it. So like we said before, a 12/8 is like this. The 10/8 groove, I'm calling it, with 5 in the right hand, is gonna sound like this. So, to get this all happening in a way that you can play along with, we're gonna run those exercises that I mentioned. But the way I really got into it was honestly starting with exercise 11. That's the first one I was singing in my head a whole bunch, and it goes like this. Which to me was kind of the approximation of the 12/8 version, which would be that's where this all started for me. So let's get the click going. Like I said, we're at 220 beats per minute. We're gonna run exercises 1, 5, 8, 11, and 14, just back to back to back. And I wanna do this in a way that makes it easy for you to play along. So I'll count us off, I'll get us in, and we're gonna go right through them. So hopefully you can do this along with me and start to get this stuff under your hands. Another note about the metronome, I have an accent happening on the downbeats. So I'm getting a harder click on the ones and a lower click on the rest of the notes. That's the general idea. That's where we're starting. I really like those particular grooves off of page number 3 from the book because they sort of are familiar in a certain way, but not familiar at the same time. So a couple of keys to making these really happen as you first get into them: work really hard to make sure that your kick drum and your snare drums are happening right with the hi-hat, like as much happening at the exact same time as you possibly can. Many weeks down the road, we're going to talk about stretching these apart and doing some strange things with putting different parts in front of and behind the beat. But the way into this, in my experience, is to really try to lock it in at first so you can internalize those quintuplets. When I was first trying to play this stuff, I had a really hard time doing that. My kick drum was trying to spring a little early, my snare drum was trying to come a little late, and it just made this thing all wonky, and it made it really hard for me to understand what I was up to. So right in line with the hi-hat. The hi-hat is church at the beginning. That is the absolute truth. The other thing I would mention to make these things really work is you gotta have a strong backbeat. The backbeat is what is gonna anchor this to all the different types of music that you already know. It's gonna keep it familiar. The 2 and the 4, it's the backbeat. So in this instance, all the snare hits, that's what I'm talking about. The snare hits are gonna give you the pendulum effect that makes this all feel very familiar. And it's gonna make more sense of this very odd style as you're getting started. So everything right with the hi-hat, strong backbeats. Backbeat, it's there for a purpose. It's what we all know. So I think that's all we're gonna cover for today. We're still on page 3. I promise we're gonna get way deeper into this book. And next week we're gonna start with some snare ghost notes, I believe. So if you need to get a copy, it's available on Amazon.com. You can buy it just through your normal Amazon account. It's gonna show up in a paperback format just like this. I'm getting them in like 2 days from Amazon Prime. They're really showing up pretty quick. You can also get it in an electronic format, just a PDF download from my website, dirtybandana.com. It's a little cheaper in the PDF version, but honestly, a lot less cool. I like having this book. It feels like a real thing, and you can keep notes in it and actually notate some of the variations I have mentioned at the beginning of each chapter if you want to. So pick one up. We're gonna keep going through this for a long time. Of course, subscribe below. If you want to catch all the upcoming lessons from the YouTube channel, make sure you're subscribed. You can also follow me over on Instagram @dirtybandana, and you can get all the details for everything that I'm up to on my website at dirtybandana.com. That's it for now. We'll see y'all next time.